Are you a woman standing at a crossroads, eager for change? It's time to connect with your authentic and empowered self at Boss Leap. Join Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker in this empowering community where real-life stories of courageous and talented women inspire and motivate. Engage in honest conversations that foster well-being, drawing from our own journeys. Let us guide you toward profound growth and transformation in both your personal and professional life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker.
Welcome back to Boss Leap Podcast, the show where we celebrate the women who stop playing it safe and start playing it bold.
I'm Dr. Angela Walker.
And I'm Dr. Sylvia Morris. And today we have a guest whose story is going to stop you in your tracks because she didn't just take one leap, she took 6.
That's right. Our guest today is a 6-time expat who has lived in Costa Rica, Venezuela, Indonesia, Peru, South Korea, and Australia. She spent over a decade navigating life as a trailing spouse, experiencing unemployment, isolation, and a very real loss of her own identity.
But here's where it gets good. Instead of staying stuck, she shifted her mindset, changed her actions, and rebuilt herself from the inside out. She went from international aid and NGO work to the U.S. Embassy circuit and ultimately leapt into entrepreneurship as an inspirational coach, speaker, and author.
She's the author of Live Your New Story, Discover Your Best Self, and Live Your Best Life. She's a certified high-performance coach, a global keynote speaker who has graced stages with the U.S. Embassy in Korea and Australia, UN Women Canberra, the Georgetown Executive MBA program, the Philippine Embassy, the Embassy of Ecuador, and the Expat Women Global Summit, which is all a mouthful.
Yes. She is also the founder of We Corps Global, a community and business academy for purpose-driven entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, and authors all around the world building portable businesses and living their new stories.
She's a proud entrepreneur and a full-time mommy of 3. Please welcome the incredible Dominique Narciso Kim.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Wow. When you say all those things, I'm like, wow, did I do all that?
That's all you.
Did it.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. This is such a joy and such a pleasure.
Thank you.
We are happy to have you.
Yeah.
So take us back to the beginning. What was your life like before your expat story began? So just, Dom, take us back to the beginning and tell us what your life was like before your expat journey began.
Yeah, I love this question, and I could answer it in 2 ways: before I met someone or before I had kids. And so I'll go way back when, from the very beginning. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Costa Rica. That was my experience. But before that, born and raised in Los Angeles, California, went to UCLA for undergrad. And I was that overachieving young person that wanted to make my parents proud. And so I did all the things. I got the grades, I got the internships, I got into the school, just like that experience of being an overachiever, but in multiple areas, not just in academics, but in sports and volunteering. So doing all these different things. So before I went to Costa Rica, I was really shooting for the stars, and I'm like, I want to make my parents proud. And I really want to step into a type of career that would be challenging to me. And I thought that would be somewhere in LA in the beginning, but then I realized my heart was set for overseas. And before joining the Peace Corps, I was doing a lot of research, like, oh, can I do this? Do I want to do this? And I'm like, oh, this sounds like so much fun to just go explore as a young person and serve my country.
I have to ask, I'm from Inglewood. Where are you from in LA?
Oh, so I'm not LA proper. I'm in Northridge, California, Porter Ranch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the Valley.
Okay.
over the
You're
hill.
the Valley girl.
Yeah,
All right.
Valley girl. Valley girl through and through.
And you guys have your lingo, so I don't. So I'm curious, so obviously very accomplished as a student, and growing up and going to college. What did you think you wanted to be? Like, was there a path that you were set on before Peace Corps? Like, what prompted you to the Peace Corps?
Yeah, so I think for any children of immigrants, my parents immigrated from the Philippines. They worked really hard. They're still working. They worked for the USPS. And I remember from a young age just seeing them struggle. I'm like, the best thing that I can do is do well in school and, be a great student and be a great daughter. And so when I was trying to navigate, like, what do I want to be? I mean, in Filipino cultures, it's like, oh, are you going to be, the first question is like, are you going to be a doctor?
Right.
I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, do I need to be a doctor? And so after a while, I'm like, oh, yes, I'll be a doctor just to appease, my aunts and uncles and grandparents. But I never really wanted to be a doctor. I love biology, though. And so when I went to UCLA, I had this vision of being like a journalist, right? I had these thoughts. I'm like, oh, it'd be so great to like be outside of an office. Like that was my vision of what I wanted for myself. What that looked like, I didn't know because I didn't have any role models to see. So it was really a journey of, I'm going to go try and test and see if I like doing this. And that's how I've always been throughout my life. And I think, thank goodness for my parents for like not giving me, this is the path to success, because I explored and I experimented. And so thinking about the Peace Corps, I actually saw one of my best friends, her brother's wife had a picture in her house, and she's from California. She's not Filipino, but she was in the Philippines. And I'm like, oh, what are you? And she was a really young picture of her. I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Is this the Philippines? She's like, oh yeah, it's the Philippines. I'm like, oh, what were you doing in the Philippines? She's like, oh, I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I'm like, oh, what's that? And I think I was 15 at the time. And so I tucked that memory in the back of my mind. Yeah. And then when I started to go to school at UCLA, and I was a pre-med student taking all the classes, at one point I was failing organic chemistry because I was like, I don't even know how to do this.
It happens.
Oh my gosh. It was like my first D plus. I'm like, I never actually said that out loud.
That's cute. You're like D plus.
Yes.
And yeah, and I realized at UCLA, like, I don't want to do this. This is not my path. I studied abroad in my third year, and
where did you study?
I studied at the University of Sussex in England.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was really fun. So that was my first stint being overseas and away from home. And I loved it. I love travel. And so when I was approaching my senior year in college, there was a Peace Corps volunteer on Bruin Walk, handing out flyers. And that's when I'm like, nice. Oh, the Peace Corps. And then went to information sessions and like, I want to do this. And I just knew in my heart that was just intuitively, like, that's something I'd like to experience as a young person.
Thank you for sharing that. I love this, our just this platform, because we get to hear about people's stories. And so much of what you just said resonated with me. Number one, if you don't see it, sometimes you don't know that you can do it. So your experience seeing someone that had actually been in the Peace Corps, but that notion of like, being outside the office as a physician, I always imagined that too as a doctor, but I was like, I don't think this, maybe I'd have an office where I could open my window, and that has never happened. But now I'm in a season where I can travel and speak and coach, and that it has opened up that window for me to be outside the office, but I'm, definitely connect with being outdoors and in nature and all of those things you experienced. But love that, because I think so many of us, followed paths. I don't know that I can say that, or Sylvia necessarily, that our parents necessarily said that we needed to do, but those were just paths that we saw as our options, and not necessarily exploring or the opportunity to explore all the other things that you did. So thank you for sharing.
So Dom, can we go back to the Peace Corps for a moment? Because I want people to understand that getting selected for the Peace Corps is a big deal. And it takes a lot of effort and thought and intentionality around the application process. But please tell me, when I've met people who've done Peace Corps, they all seem to have had just an interesting experience that then colors their entire life going forward. So can you talk about maybe a few things that you learned from being a Peace Corps volunteer?
Ooh, I love this question, and thanks for asking it. You know, one of the things that you'll never fully recognize until you live outside of your country, especially Americans, is how American you are. So I learned as a Peace Corps volunteer that I'm like, wow, I am super, super, super American because of my.
And you thought you were Filipino.
Yes, and I thought I was like Filipino. I'm like, oh no, I am very American in the way that I view the world and in the way that I carry myself and show up. So that was like the big whoa, like I'm very American. The second lesson that I learned was so I'll take a step back. At UCLA, I studied women's studies and I wanted to be a social activist. I came of age during the 9/11, when 9/11 happened. So like a lot of us during that time, we wanted to serve our country. And when I was studying women's studies, I'm like, gosh, like there's all this like inequality and all this misrepresentation in the media. And like, I just wanted to make a shift in that. And so I was very adamant about doing gender equality work in the Peace Corps. And when I did that, what I recognized was, oh, I'm coming from a place of privilege because in rural Costa Rica, gender roles really matter because it's just how the society works. Like, you know, the men are out farming and the women are at home raising the kids. Or maybe they're with the kids and they're also farming, but it was just like there was a beautiful it challenged my notions of what it meant to be, to have like gender equality. Because I recognize in this society, this works. In America, we have all these different ideas about what that means and what it could look like. So that was a second lesson. What else did I learn? And then the third is live in the present. The Costa Ricans have a saying, pura vida, like pure life. Like, you know, and then this other saying, si Dios quiere, if God wants. So what I recognize too is as an American, I like to plan, I like to think about my future. Whereas in Costa Rica, it's like live for the day. And so I really learned how to be more present. I mean, there were moments when my high achieving self was like, things are not working the way that I want to. But eventually I let go. I learned some salsa dancing. I played soccer. I ate chicharrones, you know, and I started the local language and their idioms. And they're like, oh, Dom, like you're a tica now. Like you're a Filipina tica. That's what they said. So I really acclimated and not assimilated, but they really brought me to their community. And it was best experience ever. So if anyone's listening and you want to do the Peace Corps, I think you could do it until like, as long as you're healthy, I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Love that. Thank you so much. And that brings us into your expat life. And you have across 6 countries, Costa Rica, you just mentioned, Venezuela, Indonesia, Peru, South Korea, and Australia. So where is one leap out of all those that maybe hit you the hardest and why?
You know, it was Venezuela. Venezuela happened right after Peace Corps, right after Costa Rica. And it was the hardest because I went from, and this is where like the identity piece comes in. I went from, I'm serving my country. Everyone in this community knows me and they invite me to everything, to living in an embassy structure, which is still very like super privileged. And I recognize that. However, no one knew me in Venezuela. I didn't have status because we were a same-sex couple. Same-sex marriage still wasn't legal in the United States federally. I didn't have access to jobs the way that other people did, even though I had the Spanish and even though I had consular experience. Like I was always last on the totem pole. So that was really hard. It's like, oh, I served my country, but in this capacity, like I don't have that many opportunities. So that was a struggle. And that was the first time I'm like, oh, I don't know how to achieve in this context and I have no support. So that was the big, oh crap moment. What am I going to do in my life if I wanted to be with Carol, my spouse, my now wife?
So it sounds like almost like isolation there, and you know, some culture shock because you're going from one Latin American country to another, but it's a completely different experience for you. How did you deal with that? I mean, ultimately, what was your coping mechanism, or what did you do with all of that?
So one of the things that I've experienced just as an expat across all these different countries is that there is a moment where you're like, who am I now? What do I want? Because I wasn't being defined by my career. I was being defined by wherever the country I landed in. And so I didn't really at that time know how to create an identity for myself every time we moved to a new place. Until I was a young person, I was in my mid 20s. I don't like, I mean, who in their mid 20s really knows who they are yet, right? That's
Yes.
So we have these decades to age, to, go through challenges because the struggle shapes us. And just as much as the Peace Corps shaped who I am today in terms of being a servant leader, you know, motherhood and being overseas and being with Carol and struggling with like identity all across these different stages and spaces of my life, you know, that all fed into who I am today. Now I'm like, what was the original question? Because I'm like getting lost in my own thoughts.
No, that was, no, I think you answered that in terms of how you felt. I'm just curious how you were able to overcome it, maybe.
Okay, so
the feelings.
This is great. So being the high achiever and also being very social, I lean on relationships. So I built relationships with folks inside of the embassy. Was an awesome neighbor of ours who worked in one of the offices, and she's like, "Hey Dom, why don't you just come in and volunteer in our office for a few, like once a week at least, so then I can be with people." And at the time, Caracas, very, very dangerous. Like you don't want to take your family there. Like it was just wild, wild west of Latin America. You can imagine. I mean, you know, in the recent news. And so I did what I knew how to do, which was go connect with people. And then I found opportunities that matched my personality. So before I could even get work in the embassy, there was an opportunity to be, there was like this community helping hands committee, and it was volunteer service for diplomats and family members. And I'm like, oh, like I can lead that up. Like I'll be the president. And that was my platform for doing outreach and connecting, getting more involved. Eventually I did get a job with the embassy, but it was like a super, super like admin job, which I was really grateful for, but it wasn't intellectually stimulating for me, especially after having gone to college and having that Peace Corps experience.
So you worked in international aid work and for NGOs, and you were an admin for the embassies. How did you then make that leap to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, this is, again, another great question. I had to experiment with different kinds of ways of working in different countries and spaces and times of my life. So in one moment, I'm doing a consultancy with the UN. Another moment, I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me try to be a consular officer. And so I took this special family, like it's a eligible family test position to become a diplomat, to become a consular officer. So I went that track, took all the classes, eventually became a official diplomat in Peru, and I was doing like visa interviews for a whole year, about a year and a half, and all in Spanish. And I experienced, and I'm like, And at that point, we had our third child, and I was like, do I want to continue doing this? Because this is not a 9-to-5 job. This is a 9-to-9 job. Because there were so many VIP visits, and you have to be available. You're overseas, especially when you're working for an embassy. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's your
I would have assumed, it's just like 9 to 5, you go home and
So I recognized, and Carol and I recognized, and thankfully we both had some maternity leave, and we were with our newborn, Juliet, overlooking the ocean in Peru, like eating ceviche. It's like, this is so nice to be sitting here with a baby and getting paid for it. And so we asked ourselves this question, like, what could we do differently? And that prompted me to think, well, Carol's like 4 years ahead of me in terms of her career. I was like, well, what if I tried something different in our next country, wherever that would be? And so that's what really set the stage for me to pursue entrepreneurship after Peru, because I was priming myself, because I knew if I wanted to go up in the embassy and, that lifestyle, I would have to sacrifice family time.
So it sounds like, can you help explain, and certainly we don't want any state secrets, but when you go from country to country, do you automatically come back to the US for 3 months or 6 months? Or do you move directly from Venezuela to Peru to wherever?
So generally, like with any expat families and military families and embassy families, there is a time to reconnect with your home, with your passport country, with your home country.
Okay.
So we call it home leave. And it's a moment to, I mean, it's not really a moment to rest. It's a moment to connect with people, but after you've just moved a whole household. So it's very stressful.
Right.
So in
Wow.
between countries and like with kids, thank goodness the twins are now 12 and the little one's 9. It is, I mean, if you could just imagine, it's just like go, 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 go times 10.
I can't imagine.
Yes.
I don't know that I would be able to. I've moved with little kids
Doable.
before. But yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And do you always have a place to live in the States?
No.
Because if you have home leave, where are you living?
I'm calling up Victor and Raquel in California. I'm like, Mom and Dad, can you pick us up at the airport? We have 50 luggages.
I know you do. Okay. Wow.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot of logistics. And one thing that folks don't realize is that there's a lot of emotional baggage, like literally, that you're taking from country to country. And if you don't process it, it's not like the new country is going to solve everything. You're just bringing all your stuff with you. Everything.
So tell us more about that. Not, necessarily specifics, but what do you mean by emotional baggage from country to country?
So and I think this is also anyone that's living life, right? Like when life is lifing and like things hit the fan or there's a curveball or you need to pivot. When you're bringing all of these unprocessed emotions with you, maybe you're feeling resentful, or you're feeling angry, or maybe you had a fight with a family member, or you're upset that you didn't get a promotion at work, or all of these different things, or maybe you were passed up for even a job because someone knows someone, like all of these things. When you're dealing with all of these thoughts and emotions, and then you're bringing the family with you, you're also dealing with your kids' emotions and your spouse's emotions, and so it just becomes a lot. And if you're able to ground yourself in good practices, it will lead to a breakdown of your body, a breakdown of your mental health, a breakdown of your marriage, a breakdown of your relationships, a breakdown of the self. And because I've been through many of these transitions, I've broken down many times, but I did it in isolation. I didn't do it with help.
And so that leads me to this question, and kind of what you are doing now in terms of mindset and practice. You talk about shifting your mindset, changing actions, and building what you call an adaptable identity. For someone that's standing at the edge of their own leap right now, whatever that may be, whether it's in travel, expat, or just in work and life and career in general, what does that actually look like?
Oh my
what do you recommend?
I read a book on that.
I know.
Tell us about the book. What's your book's name?
So this is like my own process of it's called Live Your New Story. This was my personal process of how I went through not knowing who I was to really understanding who I am, like really beyond all of the titles, beyond all of the accolades. So to answer your question, Angela, for someone that's at the edge of your identity and you're like trying to adapt and evolve into that new space.
Yes.
There is this, and I didn't have the language back then, but there is a moment of identity death. Like you have to grieve and process and know that it is a sort of death of who you were before in order to become your next self. And so for the longest time, I held on to the identity of being the UCLA grad, the Georgetown, the person that got, like all these, achievements. I held on to them. But when I was in the context of not being in the States, like no one cares. No one knows who you are. You could be whoever you want. Like that's part of the scariness of being an expat and being overseas is that you are who you are with yourself no matter where you go. And you cannot depend on people externally to define who you are. So that's where, people get, oh my gosh, like, who am I? Especially for folks that have shifted from, I don't know, like pivoted from a law career to a creative career. It's like, oh, what are my law friends going to think about me, right? Like, there's that question of like, am I still going to belong? And so after going through all of these transitions, it's forced me to ask the very deep question, who am I really? And so I'm still asking this question. It's not like the work is done once you've answered it once. It's like, oh,
right.
now that I've done all this
Continue.
stuff, who am I next? Like, who's coming, or what do I want?
So in terms of your teaching and what you write about, what do you have maybe the smallest first step that somebody could take? And they're talking about, they just listened to the episode this week. It might not be a massive overhaul and, changing their identity. Just one thing, one first step in trying to gain this clarity.
Yeah. So I have this question that I asked myself when I was at the edge of my identity after becoming a mom, and Carol was in Pakistan. It was the question, what does success mean to me today?
So can you have it all is my next question. So what does success mean for you? And then can you have it all?
Yes. Oh. This is the caveat.
Okay.
You really have to define what it is for you. You can take bits and pieces from what you see outside, but just because someone's successful in their industry doesn't mean that that's your definition of success. So the real work that we all go through and in a human life is, how can I create and build and shape a lifestyle and life and identity that is truly authentic to the gifts I have to give the world? And that can also take on many different forms. Like, I don't have to be a coach and author and speaker. I could be a doctor and still live in my purpose and live in that identity, or I could be something else. But the big question is, are you being congruent in? That's the first question. So that your external environment, the choices you make, matches the inside. And so if I were to simplify all of it, it comes down to one decision. Are you going to change or not? And that's the first step. And then the second part to that is
that's powerful. Can we just stop with that one? I think that's one of the hardest questions to answer.
Yeah.
And
give it that space. Like, are you
yes,
make the decision to change?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's, well, maybe not right now, or for some things, maybe it's not never. So then how do you then pivot to deal with the fact that, well, I'm really not ready or willing or able to do the things that is necessary for me to sort of change my mindset or my situation. That's hard.
Yeah.
It is. It's very, very hard. But the opposite of that, it's like, well, if you're not ready, when will you be ready? We're never. Right? It's either you're gonna change, or life's gonna change for you, and then you're forced to change. And what I've seen with a lot of folks in my space is that they wait for the thing to change before they change inside. They're like, oh no, now it's urgent. I must change. And that's how life works. Whether we like it or not, there's gonna come a point where it's like, I must change, because if not, I'm gonna be a sad person. I'm gonna be a depressed person, angry person, frustrated. List all of the negative emotions. But you don't have to keep choosing that. You can choose something else. And I was there many times, feeling resentful, feeling frustrated. And this is like the crux and purpose of the book, is that we have a narrative that tells us who we are. That narrative is shaped by the external voices of our parents, our culture, our religion, wherever you're getting your identity. Yeah. But when you flip that on its head and you say, like, well, I want to be this kind of person, and you start acting like that kind of person, suddenly the old narrative is not so great anymore. It's like, oh, I like how I feel here. But the hard part is that your people that knew you as this person, the old self.
Oh, they're upset now.
Why are you doing that? Come back down to what we're comfortable with. So it's not even about, the hardest part is bringing people along with who you're becoming. Because you got to bring folks and ask them to support you. I want to do this thing. And
how important is that?
Incredibly important.
It's spending the effort to bring them along, or do you
and
just
not everybody can come.
Well, not everyone can come, but it's your job to create the boundaries, especially for folks that say, oh, you can't do that. It's like, okay, well, I'll put a boundary here, but we don't have to talk about it. I'm still going to go move forward with what's going to make me happy.
Okay.
And it's hard because you become a mirror to others. And when you're that mirror, and you're a loud mirror, and you're also a grounded mirror, it really makes people uncomfortable. It's either they're comfortable, or they're like, give me some of your energy. I want to do what you're doing. What are you doing, Dom? What are you eating? I'm like, what are you, because they see me, they're like, you're vibrant. You have like zest for life. I'm like, yes, I'm not always happy because now I know how to feel my emotions, both the good and the bad. I have my North Star. Like I recognize what that is. And, and life's going to throw you off and you try to be steady like a tree. You're going to get swayed back and forth, but then come back to your center. And always know that there's always an opportunity or a choice to change if life is asking you to change.
An opportunity or a choice to change. That is very powerful. And you are exactly right. Let's shift gears a little bit. Can you tell us about We Corps Global and what gap you saw for purpose-driven entrepreneurs? And what does it mean to leap into building a truly portable business?
Yeah, thanks for asking this question. So my background is I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I worked in international affairs. I worked in international aid. And I wanted to find a way to bridge that gap with the coaching, speaking, and entrepreneurial world. Because when I stepped into the entrepreneurial world, there was really no talk about like, how are we helping people? How are we serving others? And I couldn't just be one. I needed to combine it. So the We Corps, the Women's Entrepreneurial Corps, is really a space for me to create community with others that are service oriented, that want to make a social impact, that want to use coaching and speaking and writing as a force for good versus just a force for making profit. So if you can think about it, it's like, oh, how can I bring people together? Right? Let's do it together because it's hard doing it alone. And then support each other in each other's small business ecosystems, because the way I'm doing business is going to be very different from like a bro marketer that's doing business. I'm not planning to scale to 1 million gazillion people. That's not my plan. I want hyper intentional relationships with my clients and with the people that I serve, because that's the impact that I can make and it can go deep. And so that's the reason why I started the We Corps, because I find a lot of entrepreneurs, especially coming from corporate or government, when you make that leap, it is a different mindset. Like you have to be different. You can't wait for someone to tell you what to do. It's like, you got to go figure out what to do and then be discerning in terms of who you're choosing as mentors, because not every person that's successful is your mentor.
Right.
That's a mistake that I made. So
yeah,
we're learning.
So tell us a little bit more about We Corps. Like, who is part of it? How does someone become involved? Are you chosen? I'm just interested in, like, do I fit the mode? Do you need to be traveling globally, or what exactly?
Absolutely. I love this.
I joined the club. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're already part of the club. There's no permission granted. So I did a beta test of the We Corps for when was this, 2023, 2024, to see like, what is the real need here in terms of marketing and business for women entrepreneurs that are purpose driven. And what I found was there's a big gap in the money mindset. And I want to teach folks and also put them around other people that are growing in this space, because biologically, and y'all are all the experts, we're social beings and we grow based on the other people around us. And that's why you got to have your tribe. And I'm like, you know what? Wouldn't it be great to have a tribe of women that are also going through this process of building a coaching, speaking, writing business that you can take anywhere in the world, but you're also learning how to receive support. That's and learn how to open yourself up to receiving more resources. One of the things I'm trying to test within the We Corps is, what does it mean as a high achiever to start asking for help? Because this was one of the challenges that I faced. I always did things by myself.
Absolutely.
And how can I teach in the context of this community other high achieving women that are crazy accomplished to be okay with letting the guard down, to feel vulnerable, and to truly ask for sisterhood? Because I've been in spaces with other women that are highly competitive. They're trying to fight me for something, even though I'm not fighting them. It's like they're fighting their own fight. And I'm like, I don't want to partake in those types of environments if I know how to create a different space. And so that's like the vision for the We Corps has always been, what can I do to create more safety for women to rise and for women to make more money? Because in other spaces, like you're always getting torn down. Like, why do you want to do that? Aren't you shouldn't you be taking care of your kids? And we get all these narratives that tell us not to do something, even though it's for our own benefit and for the benefit of society. So, I mean, I think philosophically, the We Core is really a community that I meet amazing people all over the world. And I'm like,
I bet you do.
Gather them and like, what can we do? It's almost like the Davos or the World Economic Forum, but for like mission-driven entrepreneurs. And like, what can we do together? Because all I need to do is gather the right people.
Yes.
That's it.
And good things happen.
And the good, the magic happens. It's like, and you know it because you feel it, the energy, the vibe, it's just like so good. And so I'm really good at doing that. And then within the We Core, I started teaching other entrepreneurs, this is how you market, because I think the marketing landscape and the education out there, it's either like hyper crazy, like market 1 million times a day. And then there's like, and then what I'm doing right now with Diary of a Trailing Spouse, let me do like 30-second, little clips. Like, this is how I'm feeling today. And it's not pushy. It's not like, I want you to buy something from me now, like download this guy. Like I don't want everything to be a commercial. So how can we bring the essence of these women entrepreneurs into their business? So it's not really about the business, although it is the business. The business provides a vehicle for elevating your voice, your true voice. The business provides a vehicle for elevating your purpose and giving you a platform to be the main event.
And so, because we have so much to talk about, in terms of We Core Global, if someone was interested in learning more, and we'll put all these things in our show notes, but I just think it's pertinent to kind of stop and say, how would we find you?
Yeah. So currently I'm not intaking anyone into the We Core because I'm moving, but I am going to be opening up enrollment in September. And I'm still planning in terms of what that looks like. But if you're interested, I do have a Facebook group that is the We Core Facebook group. It's for expats, coaches, speakers. I'm combining, right? Like combining the trailing spouses and the diplomats and the expats with coaching and speaking. So folks that need community as they're shifting their identity, like come into my space. I'll support you, I'll help you, I'll connect you with amazing people.
Love that.
That's where I'm building that community right now on Facebook.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I will confess, I had been following you on Instagram, the Diary of a Trailing Spouse.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think what resonates the most is just the little teaser that you give us every time. It's quick. So can you kind of talk about how that evolved and what maybe your intention is around that?
Yeah. So this term trailing spouse, I've always hated it. Like I did not like it. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this term trailing spouse because I'm not just a spouse.
Following behind.
Yeah, right. Following behind. But that's like kind of where, people's heads go like, oh, yes, you're the second person. And so I wanted to take that term instead of, getting mad at it. I'm like, what if I owned it? What if I claimed it and used it not as a source of weakness, but as a source of strength? Because when you say I'm a trailing spouse, you come with so many different skills that no one, like someone who has never left the country, they don't have the same skill set as you.
Right. Adaptable.
You can learn language. You can think on your feet, in terms of being innovative, like you're going to be innovative when you're overseas. So the trailing spouse came about because I'm like, you know what? I need to grow my platform. I have all of these ideas. Repatriating back to the States, I realized like this is my edge. I've been through all of these different experiences. Like this is what I can bring that's going to be unique and different to the marketplace where I don't have to compete with anyone because there's no one else like me. Like I know.
Yeah, it's very niche.
I'm it in this moment in time. So how can I share this journey for those that are thinking about an international move or, what does it really take to go from one place to another and bring your identity with you? Because I think people just see the glamour of moving overseas. They don't see like, this is the emotional journey that one goes through. Even for me that I've trained myself to go through these things, but it's still hard. It's not easy. And so I wanted to give voice to all of the trailing spouses out there and all the folks that move overseas because it's not easy. There's a lot of shame around being a trailing spouse. And I want to show like, no, I'm really proud of it. And how can I create that voice for others? And it's so crazy because everyone is sharing, like people from the woodwork. Nice. Wow. They're totally engaging with this content. And I'm really glad that I get to show it and share it and also document it for myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling good today.
Yeah. So you've talked about the WeCore and that platform and that community that you have built and continue to build, and just now the social media with Trailing Spouse. So you are a speaker, and clearly you've had a lot of audiences alongside the U.S. Embassy. I mean, the list was so long. The UN Women, Georgetown Executive MBA program. What message do you find yourself coming back to on each of these stages? What is it that fuels your leap forward?
Oh, it's the purpose. It's like, how can I wake people up to who they are? Like my voice, the one of the greatest things about being a speaker that I love, it's almost like someone else is talking. When I get on that stage, it's like, and I feel the flow, I feel the energy, and I know that I'm really good, or whatever's coming through me is like amazing, because you can pin drop, 30 seconds into the speech, because I get so embodied in the message. And the message is, be yourself unapologetically. Express who you are. Like, as cliche as that sounds, it's like, it really is the gift of life. Like, we need you, because you're the only one. We need you to be happy. We need you to be connected. We need you to be, creating the kind of contribution only you can make in the world, whether that's a person or a million people, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, speaking has been such a gift. And I never thought that I would be a speaker, let alone get paid for it. And thanks to the pandemic, like, that's how I got started in speaking. The embassy called me and said, "Hey, we saw your videos, and are you willing to speak to frontline workers in Tegu?" And I'm like,
yes.
Oh, me? Like, that's what I was thinking in my head, like imposter syndrome, like times 100. And like, let me, I can come to the office, and that started it. And I started speaking online. That's how I got my first in. And then I kept asking for more opportunity, and the powers that be, like, give me more stages. I want them.
Has the audience ever surprised you in any way? Like maybe a reaction that you didn't expect, or something that just stayed with you? Maybe it was one individual.
I haven't had any negative experiences, but what I do recognize is that regardless of who I'm speaking to, whether it's a Korean audience, an Australian audience, a mixed audience, corporate or government, or stay-at-home moms and dads, every human wants one thing: they want to be seen.
Absolutely.
And so when I speak, I see them, even if it's a group of 400 or a group of one. I see them, I feel them, I sense into them, and they feel that connection. So yeah, that's
great. Wonderful.
So for that listener who is a trailing spouse, and if you want to give me a new phrase for that, I will be happily accept that and use that. But they're unsure of who they are outside of their partner's career. What would you say to them to help them make that first leap?
Follow your joy.
I love that.
Follow what you've all, like, there's this question I ask most of my clients, what is the thing that you've always wanted to do that you never did? Go do that. Go do that, and let your creative side and your joyful side and your expressive side start playing, because in that process, you're going to discover what it is you like. And what the world wants, what the universe wants, is for us to be happy and to be joyful. So follow your joy. If that's having a coffee with a friend, go have coffee with a friend. If that's reading a book, read a book. Like, just take the steps to feed your soul.
Nice.
You just said so many pearls in that: feeling my soul, following my joy, and most importantly, the universe wants us to be happy.
Yeah, love that. And what would you say to the version of yourself who wasn't sure she deserved more? Like, maybe, I don't know at what stage that might have been, but it sounds like there may have been a point in time. What would you say to her?
Gotta make me cry.
Not trying to.
No, I get this question, and it's such a good question. I would say it's gonna be okay. Forgive yourself, follow your joy, be around more people, ask for help. I think that's the big one, is ask for help. I wish I had done that. I just didn't know that that was an option. So I would tell her, ask for help. Let people know that you're struggling.
Love that. Great advice.
So you're talking about asking for help. That is critical, and that's hard for us to learn, especially when you talk about high achieving women. So I really appreciate your sharing that and reminding us to be vulnerable, because we all need help. We don't get through this life by ourselves.
Absolutely.
You have lived on multiple countries, in multiple continents, is what I meant to say. Are there any self-care practices or routines that you have learned outside the United States that you want to share with our audience? I'm asking for a friend.
So self-care routines, gosh. I can't, like, are you talking about like specific, like to South Korea or Australia, like things that are different?
Anything.
However you want to answer it. Yes.
For me, it's always been meditation.
Okay.
One. Number two is go out in nature. In Australia, it was amazing because there's like kangaroos and like literally there's kangaroos.
Wow.
Where were you in Australia?
I was in Canberra. So I was south of Sydney, and where we lived, it literally like heaps of kangaroo, like not just one, but like 15 and they're like your size or bigger. It's like, oh my gosh, are they going to like touch me?
Are they just like out there? I mean, they're
just laying down. They're like eating, like they're just hanging out, and you're just so close to them. And so it's like the joy of that and the joy of being in nature and appreciating it. Like here, like in Virginia, I go outside and there's like a woodpecker and I'm just like staring at it, and all the kids stare at it too. And I'm like, girls, look at this amazing animal. Like just to be in the presence of Mother Nature. And then I'm Filipino. I'm a big foodie. It's like food is self-care.
Yes.
You're not eating something delicious that makes you go, that's so good.
Yes.
And, I don't know, find friends.
And what's the thing you miss, one food that you miss the most when you're living outside the United States, whether it's kind of convenience or process or your go-to snack? What do you pack with you or have people bring when they visit you? Okay,
so being from,
or is there anything?
And Sylvia, you're gonna love this. I love an In-N-Out burger. Like you cannot get that anywhere. And actually, that I asked someone to bring it. No, the flight's too long, so it's not the same. So I don't even ask for an In-N-Out burger. So that's one. I think in terms of another, I actually posted this on my LinkedIn. There are these cookies by Keebler. They're called Yale Fudge. And I ate those growing up as a kid. They're like little elves with like chocolate in the middle. Like I love those cookies, and they remind me of my childhood, and they make me happy. So everywhere I've been in the world, like I remember Carol sent me a box when I was in Costa Rica. So I'm like opening up like in the middle of the jungle. I'm like, oh, my cookies. And every time he goes to the States, like, hey, Dom, what do you want? Like, I'm going to go to Trader Joe's. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want that. I want Yale Fudge cookies.
Yo Fudge, like Y-O?
Oh, no, E-L Fudge.
L Fudge. Gotcha.
Fudge, okay. Yeah. I don't call it Yale Fudge. I just call it Yale Fudge every time. Yeah.
Love that. Love it. So this has been so fantastic. Thank you for kind of shedding light on your life, your perspective, certainly an absolute unique one. And we know that it's a privilege for us to have you here, being a mother of three and wife, and certainly an accomplished writer and entrepreneur, all of the things. We would love to give you just this opportunity, if there's anything that we missed or anything that you want to share with our listeners to take them into this week, please feel free.
Yeah, just keep learning and keep staying curious with your life. Like there's so many gems that you have, they're unexplored. It's like if you've had a nudge to go take a painting class, if you've had a nudge to go, call someone that you haven't spoken to in years, like follow that. Like that's your intuition speaking. That's your higher self speaking. And I've learned to just listen and not resist it. So be open, go out there, stay curious, have conversations. Like Angela, when I met you at the conference, and I'm like, yes, look, so cool. I'm going to talk to her. Because you have the aura, you have that energy, and I can recognize now who are people that are aligned with what they're doing. Like you feel it from across the room. So
I felt the same way. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just, it's just such an honor and meet people, right? Like continue to meet people and share your story.
Build your community. Absolutely. I think I kind of grew up with this notion of I still have my best friend from high school, and then Sylvia is part of my crew from medical school. But you think as an adult women that you don't continue to build that, but you can. You just have to be intentional about that, right? And I think when you are you find your purpose and your passion, and you're aligned, and your life is kind of you're choosing things that are aligned with that, then you can still bring people into your community. And I'm grateful that you are now in ours.
Yes.
And I can't wait to hear more about what you're doing and looking more in terms, and your book last time, we'll put that, yes, let's see that one again. We'll put that in our show notes.
And where can we buy Live Your New Story?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon, and yeah, it's a quick read. It's 96 pages, but it's packed with so much wisdom. So
love it.
Whoever gets the book, read it and answer the questions, because you're going to find something out about yourself that you never knew. So this is
Beautiful.
The name of the book.
Awesome. Very good. So this conversation has absolutely been everything to us, and you've given our listeners so much, your truth, your tools, honesty, definitely, and it sounds like very much your heart. So we're grateful that you leaped into this seat with us today.
And truly, if you're listening and you felt a nudge during this episode, that's your intuition calling.
So go grab Dom's book, Live Your New Story, and we'll have all the links that she mentioned in our show notes. And certainly if you are a purpose-driven entrepreneur ready to build something portable and powerful, look up WeCore Global. The link is waiting for you.
And Dom, please share again with our listeners where they can find you and follow you.
Yeah, I am very active on LinkedIn and Instagram. And if you'd like to support me on my goal to getting up to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm also on YouTube at Dom Narciso Kim.
Love that. Go follow her now, and we'll wait.
And if this episode moved you, share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear it. One share can change someone's whole trajectory.
And until next time, keep leaping, keep building, growing, stay curious. And this is the life that you were given, the only one, and you were meant to live it.
May you be well.
May you be well.
That's a wrap on another episode of Boss Leap. May this conversation enlighten your path toward personal growth and professional empowerment. For more thought-provoking and eye-opening discussions like this one, head to our website at bossleappodcast.com. Always remember to celebrate your wins and trust yourself. A positive mindset can push you out of your comfort zone and into far greater heights. Until next time, may you be well.
Before we go, there's one more thing the lawyers have asked us to include. It's the legal language, and you know how doctors love lawyers. This podcast is presented only for educational and entertainment purposes. Although we are doctors, on this show, we are just your friends. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Understood? Awesome. We'll see you in the next episode.